Let's talk tactical. It's a buzzword of the paintball industry, isn't it? Tactical this and tactical that, but I don't think the industry really gets the point of it, so it might just be time to tell them. Let's backtrack, back to the 1980s, when paintball was way different. Most of the gear people used was what they could find, modify, or otherwise fabricate from existing parts. It's why I still own a stroker, actually, but I digress. Most people would raid the local Army-Navy store and find pouches, belts, and BDUs that would fit the job. Mostly because early paintball players had to use turpentine to wash their camos out, or they'd just burn them, so cheap was good. Fast forward to the 1990s, where, okay, that's not really a fair image to use, but it is very telling of the era. Paintball went through this let's go out of the woods phase, and they adopted colorforms field and clown-style uniforms, and then quietly a backlash began to happen. Mostly it was players tired of dealing with the tournament attitudes, but people began to get more into the woods scene. I'm not going to detail it out, but suffice to say it happened fairly slowly. From what I could tell, the industry scoffed when Spec Ops made the woods player their sole customer base, and then they realized a few thousand people were driving to the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma for scenario games, and suddenly it's bandwagon time! In a year, every major player in the paintball industry scrambled to make a tactical line of gear, or more correctly, they took the cheapest thing in their arsenal, welded a Picatinny rail to it, anoed it black, and called it tactical. JT, Smart Parts, Tipman, Empire, they all simultaneously rediscovered black and woodland camo and slapped it on everything they could, along with the label tactical. This brings me to the big problem, as all this so-called tactical gear is cheap. Cheaply made, cheaply bought, and cheap in that it doesn't last one outing. I don't know if the industry realizes this, but scenario players live in their stuff for days at a time, and hey, we do baseball slides in the woods too. A little QC wouldn't kill you, you know. But speaking purely in terms of price, we don't get what we pay for. I'm going to pick on the new Dytac stuff and Valken's tactical lines. They both make the same basic errors, and they also make tactical vests and paintball-specific gear for them, and okay, that's fair enough. Let's run the MSRP against one of the more expensive online catalogs that I know of. So, camo top, pants, molly vest with no accessories, a head covering of your choosing. Yeah, the paintball stuff is a lot more money. And what are you getting? Recolored speedball gear. They don't really make the gear woodsball specific, like nowhere to hold your car keys, no pockets for mission cards, no easy to access ID pockets that can be concealed for stealth missions, and hey, how about some cuffs on them pants to help us keep the ticks out? The sad thing is that I would actually drop the money just for the nostalgia bomb of Valken's Tiger Stripe stuff, but I've been warned away from it. Most of the feedback I got from players using it was that the pants disintegrate in one outing.
And after only one day of play, see, I got a rip there, and that was after the first or second game I had of the day.
And that's too bad, because I'm really a fan of the old style Tiger Stripe too. What rec players and speedball specialists do on the field are similar, but the stress we put on our gear is totally different. Now, some companies get it. I've been wearing the same Spec Ops Digicam for over 7 years now, and with the exception of a couple of threads, it's still holding strong. But it's obvious to me that other companies just don't get it. They dress their sponsored players, their sponsored speedball specialists in camo, rub some dirt on them, and then sell us the gear that's not made for us. And I know people will buy it. I'm just personally skeptical. All of that being said, I will say this publicly to Dye or Valken or anyone else who makes so-called paintball tactical gear. Guys, if your gear is really top-notch, and you're confident that a 6'4", 250-pound human gorilla can't maul it in one weekend, contact me through this channel. I'll be more than happy to stress test your gear in real-world conditions. And I want to be wrong. I'll be more than happy to eat my words and make a video showing the world how great your gear really is, providing that I truly can't wreck it and it's better than the BDUs that I already have. A part of me knows that you won't take me up on this challenge, but hey, I'm willing to be surprised.